Welcome back to MBOX Frustrated User Guide. You're watching an episode titled Will It Stream? Now it's Monday, August 5th, 2024. This is an old MXQ with Android 4.4.2, the same MXQ that I've had in many of my Will It Stream type videos, but this time we're going to call it Will It Stream. And the reason for that: have you ever watched any of these Will It Run videos? Search criteria: Will It Run? Driving a 1950 Pontiac for the first time in 40 years. So here's a car that's been stopped for 40 years. This guy's going to get it running in a 25-minute video. How about this one? Parked for 40 plus years. Jeep. This guy's going to get it running in a 55-minute video. And over and over and over. Some of my favorite channels here. Will It Run? 20 plus years. No nonsense, no how. Unbelievable channel. This Buick, 41 Buick. Sitting for 38 years, but let's 49 plus 24. What is that? 83 years old? He's going to get this car running by the end of this video. And over and over and over. How do they do it? Well, if you watch enough of these videos, there's three things they check for. The engine has to have compression, has to have spark, has to have fuel. They all approach it the same way. We need compression, we need spark, we need fuel. If it's got all three of those things, it doesn't matter how many decades that engine has sat, it's going to start and run. And you'll see it over and over and over and over. So we're going to use that same technique, the same Will It Run technique, to answer the question, will these old TV boxes stream? And unlike those cars that are 40 and 50 years old, this TV box, it's a 2016. So it's only 8 years old. These TV boxes aren't that old. Of course they're going to stream. So let's see. They need compression, spark, and fuel. What do we need? First thing, we need an accurate clock. First thing, we can see here 3:27. That is the correct time. If your box has a clock that can't keep time, fix it with Clock Sync. I have a whole episode on that. Clock Sync will fix your time problem, so please watch that episode. But okay, let's just check it. I'll click on Clock Sync. Here's the atomic time. It goes out to Boulder, Colorado, United States. That's where we've got it set. According to Boulder, it's 3:28 p.m. Same exact system time here, Monday, August 5th, 2024. We're off by 1/1000th of a second. That's unbelievable. Now we're exactly synced. Look at that. Now the only time this defective clock stops keeping time with Clock Sync is if there's been a power failure. In that event, we have to go back in, and then you can just click on this right here. Just clicking on that will update it to the atomic clock. So okay, there's a little tip. That's our first thing. We got spark. We got a clock. All right, now what about compression? Well, in this case, we need bandwidth. I'm going to check our bandwidth here today with Speed Tester. All right, let's go. This is connected by Wi-Fi. Ping is 10 milliseconds, that's up here. We got a download of 35 megabits per second, more than enough, 40 megabits per second on the Wi-Fi. We're not going to be using the upload, but it'll test our upload as well. Now you need at least 10 megabits per second to stream anything, and that's just barely streaming. You have to be connected to a fast server. The higher this number, the better it's going to be. In my experience, anything above 20 you should do really well. This is 40, so I don't expect any problems. So we have an accurate clock. We've got bandwidth. Now what's the third thing? Remember, on those cars, they're looking for compression, spark, fuel. What's the third thing? Well, that's storage space. So I've clicked on Settings, Apps. Here's our internal storage. We've used 1.4 gigabytes with our installed apps, which can do pretty much everything we need it to do. And we have 3.8 gigabytes free. Why do we need so much free space? Now, on these old boxes with only 6 gig embedded multimedia cards, this left section has to be under 2 gigs. And this right section has to be over 3 gigs. And the higher this number, the better you're going to do. The lower this number, the better you're going to do. We need this space to work. Apps need space to work. You can't fill everything up and expect the box to work. Now, on a box that has 32 gigs or 64 gig internal embedded multimedia card, it's not a problem. But on this box, these old boxes that had very small storage devices built in, this is a real concern. How do you free up all this internal storage? You have to delete the apps that don't work. We have a whole episode on that. But these are the three things. I'm not going to repeat that episode here. These are the three things. You need storage. Let's go back home. You need a working clock. You need bandwidth. Well, we have those three things. So that means this box has got to stream. And the apps that we're going to use on these old boxes, well, we have 2 YouTube apps. This one has SkyTube Legacy Extra. We also have SmartTube. Now, even though at first glance you would think that these two are similar apps, each has unique features. So let's go back to SmartTube because we've already got that open. And look at all the stuff that we've got open here. Remember when this box could not chew gum and walk at the same time? Now you can do all these things at the same time. So let's go back to SmartTube. We're still in the will it run category. Note that it only took, 4 or 5 seconds for this page to load. So, okay. Let's say you, for some reason, there's a technique here and you want to learn this better and use it somewhere where you don't have internet. How could you download that and take it out to your car or the junk car in your backyard that you want to try to get running? You see this right here? If I click that, this video will download in a matter of seconds and it will play perfectly. SmartTube doesn't have this feature. There is another thing. Even though I'm not signed into Google or YouTube or any other service, SkyTube lets me subscribe to a channel and list it here in the menu, so I never have to search for it again because I can just choose it from this menu, even though I am not signed into anything. Now, how would you do that? Well, supposing I wanted to sign into this channel, this guy has a tremendous amount of subscribers. You could click here. Channel. I'm off the channel. Hit subscribe, and that guy's channel will appear in our menu here on the left. These are great features. So this is SkyTube Extra. Now let's check the version. Remember, it's August 4th, 2024. This is version 2.990, and this is called SkyTube Extra. There's also SkyTube Legacy. There's at least 6 different versions of SkyTube. So this one is 2.990. Now if Google or YouTube makes a change that stops third-party YouTube apps from working, it'll take a day or so, and they both SkyTube and SmartTube always come up with updates that correct it. So if you have one that's not working, it just means YouTube made a change to try to knock them out, and the developers just overcame that change and came up with a new version. As of today, though, you want 2.990. Probably going to be a much newer one by the time you're watching this. Now, another thing about SkyTube, since I mentioned it last time, a few people said they couldn't get audio. So if that's the case, you go to Preferences, you go to Video Player. It's not obvious because you have an audio problem, but the fix is under Video Player. And you scroll down to the bottom here. See where it says Try Newer Video Formats? If that's checked, sound and video may suffer on old Android versions without support for these newer video formats. So if you're not getting any sound, uncheck this. It only takes a second, and the sound will play perfectly. So this is SkyTube Extra, one of my absolute favorite apps. I have it on all my boxes from the oldest to the newest. Works great. It's just a wonderful, wonderful app. Developers deserve all the credit in the world. All right, now what about SmartTube? Why do we have 2 YouTube apps? Well, they each have features, and one of the features that I really love about SmartTube, 3:39 p.m. Let's see how long this takes to load. What was that? 5-6 seconds? Okay, one of the features that I really love about SmartTube, first I'll search for my own channel so that we don't get any copyright strikes. Alright, try to find. Here's a TV repair video, the same exact TV we're looking at right now. Use this TV in at least 2 or 3 videos, so I'll click on that. Okay, I'm just going to pause it here. Now that only took 3 or 4 seconds to load. The feature that this has that SkyTube does not have would be closed captions. So when I play this video, there will be closed captions because I've already turned it on. And depending upon what I did last time, let's see what language they're in, because this is the real fantastic feature. Now I've turned the volume down so that I can still talk over it. Now see, even though this video is in English, we've got Spanish subtitles. So if you don't speak English and you have trouble following my videos, especially with my Massachusetts accent, you can set up subtitles in any language, virtually any language. Now let's stop it again. You click on subtitles. Guess you have to click and hold. Now subtitles. Click here. Oops, that's not right. Click on auto generated. And then choose your language. So, no hablo inglés? No hay problema. Just click on Spanish. Now, I speak broken Spanish, broken Portuguese, broken Russian. I could never narrate these videos in any of those languages, even though I might be able to order food in a restaurant and get around. There's no way I could do it, but regardless, where you are in the world, look, they've got virtually every language everywhere. And this is all you have to do, is click on your language and select it. Now follow English, follow Portuguese. Okay, let's go to Portuguese. My Portuguese is better than my Spanish, but I still could not narrate this in Portuguese and do any kind of reasonable job. So how about Russian? Говорить по-русски? Я изучал русский язык в школе. But that was 60 years ago. Talk about rusty Russian. Let's see how this is going to work. Amazing. So great feature here in SmartTube. Can't do this in SkyTube. So there we go. Works perfectly here. This is Android 4.4.2, 8-year-old MXQ. Now I want to show you something else. Now, one of the biggest complaints that we get is, yeah, but there's not enough movies, not enough TV shows. Well, did you ever think of typing in movies into YouTube? How about movies 2024, full movies, 2023 full movie, full-length movies English, this language, the other language, whatever language. Let's just see what we get. Search results for movies. YouTube movies, 182 million subscribers. Recently uploaded. New action movie 2024. Oh, is that the guy from The Beekeeper? I don't know how many thousands, hundreds of thousands of movies there may be here in every language, everywhere. You can search by the movie that you're actually looking for, too. And they all play perfectly. I lost that just then. Let's try here on SkyTube. Movies. Full-length movies. Auto-suggested. Try that. Yeah, it is that guy from Beekeeper. I don't know how many movies there are on YouTube. Jeez, that looks like an old Stallone. Does he have a new Rambo movie? There's got to be hundreds of thousands. I just don't know. But, no shortage of movies, both here on SkyTube or SmartTube. How about English movies? You can also search for TV shows. Search results for TV shows full episodes. Oh, we didn't specify just English. Again, I would tend to think you're going to find whatever it is. Here's some sort of MasterChef type thing. This one's from Kitchen Nightmares. We can't go through all the millions of them that would be here, but whatever you want, you're going to find it, both on SkyTube and on SmartTube. Now, in addition, we have another streaming app that works great on Android 4.4.2. I don't have it on the desktop. Let me just put it on the desktop. And that would be FilmOn Live TV. I'm going to put it right here. This is version 2.4.3, copyright 2024. So we're not looking at some really old version. Notice it's going to start playing the default channel almost immediately. So I'm going to stop that. Now on the left hand side you have this menu which looks like it might be short. There's a combination of paid and free channels. I'm going to go down to we got news channels. If it's a paid channel, see here where it says paid. If it's free, it's marked free, so you don't have to subscribe to watch any of these free channels. Now each of these categories, there's a lot more here than you might think. So you collapse that, and now you go on to these other categories. Vintage USA TV, here's more movies, here's documentary, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah, tons of stuff to be watched here, and it all plays almost immediately. No, we don't want to play the BBC and get a copyright strike. So lots of stuff here. It all plays perfectly and streams quickly. There's no buffering. You can click this icon, make it go to full screen. It'll play for hours, play perfectly. A great app. This is, oh yes, and you get either free standard definition or high quality HQ definition, depending upon how much power is in your box. On the older boxes, you might want to make sure that standard definition is checked. Still looks pretty good. So yeah, lots of content here. Got to be very careful on YouTube. They're so quick to issue strikes. So this is a very good app. It's called FilmOn Live TV. That was version 2.4.3. But the big news this year, we have a browser. It's called the VIA browser. For America, 5 America. It took about 5 seconds to load. Now remember, this is that old MXQ. That's pretty fast. Now it's not perfect on Android 4.4.2, but it sure is better than no browser. So we're going to look at a couple things here that people say they can't get. Some people say they don't have a Miracast client because it didn't come with their box. Well, here's 2 that work on Android 4.4.2 and all newer versions. So you just click on that there. One of the nice things about having a browser that actually works on these old boxes is that if you didn't have this and you wanted it, you could click right here, download. And you would have it in seconds. So that's the Miracast player by PlayWFD. It's version 1.3. I've tested it. Works perfectly on Android 4.4.2. Works as well as the one that came with my box. So if you don't have it, you could try this one. Alright, there's another one too that works. It's this one, Wi-Fi Sync. This is version 1.6. Again, you could download it right here. If you don't already have a working browser on your box, you're going to have to download a working browser on a computer and bring it over here. And where would you get the VIA browser? Well, it's right here. VIAYOO. Sorry it went by so fast. Yeah, this old box is wicked fast. I remember one time it was so slow, but it's so fast right now. We've turned it into a hot rod box. We have an accurate clock. We've got bandwidth. We've got storage space. We've got apps that work. And if you wanted to download this, you could click download and you would have it immediately. So let's see. Launcher. Some people say they don't have the phone launcher on their box. That would be the launcher that I use and I've featured in many other videos. Well, here's where you can get it. Actually, right now, I'm not using the launcher that came on my box. I've been testing this one for months. It's called Launcher Plus, version 1.2.7. We're at Uptown. This is Bjorn. I'm not going to mispronounce his last name. Works perfectly. Works even better than the phone launcher that came with my box. Works great. So if you want a phone launcher, you can get and use that one. Oh, why did I put this here? What's this one? Oh, you can also get it from APK Pure. This is the same launcher, version 1.2.7. If you're noticing how fast these pages pop on the VIA browser, just amazing, because we had no browser before. Now here's another thing. I'm not a gamer, but look at this site, apk.gold. It's not apkgold.org, it's not apkgold.com, it's apk.gold. Prior to this, I was not familiar with the .gold extension, but download free APK files for any Android versions. So if you click search and you type in games for Android 4.4.2 or whatever you want, this will do a great job of bringing in that old stuff. Right now we're just at the generic homepage. I'm sure that you're not going to get a Google Chrome for Android 4.4.2. You would have to type that in first, but what a great site to get apps that work on these old boxes. So this is apk.gold. What's this one? Must be the same thing. Oh, here's where you can get FilmOn. We just looked at FilmOn. They have it at apk.gold, and they have all these versions. We were using version 2.4.3. I'm not sure what the difference is. Some of these might be best for the paid services. We're just using the free one, free live TV, so that's 2.4.3. You can also download that from apk.gold. And once you get the VIA browser on your box, you can do all this right on the box, which is amazing. Here's my channel. Can we pop that? You're best watching YouTube on either SkyTube or SmartTube Plus. But see, you can also watch it here. Here's MXQ Upgrade Secrets, Frustrated User Guides. My channel, it's a little bit slower when you do it this way, but this works too. See, Frustrated User Guide for MXQ TV boxes with Android 4.4.2. All the episodes right here. But again, much faster if you do it using SmartTube or SkyTube. But it does work with VIA. So what a great app to put on your box. So that's the news for 2024. I want to point out that we did this. Look at all the stuff that we have running right now, all at the same time. We didn't have to close this all out. They all worked. You saw the speed. So we're going to address one other issue that keeps coming up. People tell me they cannot hit their Netgear media servers. Well, I have a router, a Netgear router, an old R6050. It's probably 2016 vintage, 2015 vintage. I'm going to hit it with FX. This is FX File Manager. Go to Network. I've already set up these servers, but here's how you would do it on an old Netgear ReadyShare router. You'd click the plus button. You could either set up a file transfer protocol server or a Windows host that's server message block. What you need to know is the reason it usually doesn't work is those old Netgear routers were on server message block version 1. It's the latest version, I think, is version 3, and it's going to default higher. So you could put in your host name or computer address. You do, if you're familiar with this, you know you do all this and it never works. Because to make it work, you've got to go over here to Advanced. Oh, I think they fixed it in this version. On older versions, you would have to go here to Advanced, and there will be a list here to say use SMB1. And you click that, and then it works. Here's my ReadyShare, and it's just going to work because I've already done this before. But that's your tip. If it's not working for you, even though you put in the IP address correctly, you put in the share name, whether you have a user or not, whether it's anonymous or you have to have a username and password, if it doesn't work, go on the Advanced tab. Turn on SMB1, which will show here, and that's the answer. And how does this play? Well, if I go to ReadyShare, if I click on, nope, can't show this, get a strike. Okay. So that's pretty much it for August 5th, 2024. These two programs continue to work perfectly. Oh, and then there's one other thing. Do you know what a homophone is? Homophone has to do with two words that sound exactly alike but are spelled differently. So there's an app that I cannot mention here without getting censored and getting a strike. And the name of that app is a homophone for Buffalo Bill's last name. So I'm going to type in Buffalo Bill. So here it is. Buffalo Bill's real name is William Frederick. There's his last name. And the app I'm talking about is pronounced exactly the same as Buffalo Bill's last name. Now that also works great on this box. And there's a whole episode on Frustrated User Guide that shows you how to do that. Now, YouTube has said you have to be over 18 to watch that video because it's so inappropriate and offensive. They've censored me and put all kinds of restrictions on it. All I can say is there's no offensive material, no dangerous material. None of the things that have been charged are in fact true, but you can be the judge. You can tell me if you see any inappropriate content. All we're talking about is how to make Buffalo Bill work on this computer, work on this old TV box. And it does work. It works as well as on any other TV box. And you know that if you are familiar with Buffalo Bill and how it works, there isn't anything you can't watch. So that's all I'm going to say. Watch that app. Just go to MXQ Frustrated User Guide. Watch the episode on Buffalo Bill. It works as well on this box as it works anywhere else. That's all I can say. So between Buffalo Bill, between these two apps, that's also a censored episode. These two apps can play every cable TV channel in every language from all around the world. So over 7,000 channels here. We reboot the computer so that it boots up the Buffalo Bill. I have an old TV box that's quite fast, does everything I want it to do, works on little TVs, works on big TVs, has a beautiful, beautiful picture and scanning ability. The sound is amazing. So yeah, we've done what these guys did with their Will It Run car videos. We can make any of these old TV boxes stream. And the secret, again, you need an accurate clock, you need bandwidth, you need storage. Get rid of all the junk that doesn't work. Install SmartTube, install SkyTube, install the VIA browser, FilmOn Live TV. If you don't have it already, Miracast so that you can stream anything off your phone. We do have these utilities, clock sync, because this box cannot keep time without it. Do have this to check my bandwidth. Remember, you can't stream if you've got less than 10 megabits per second bandwidth. Tell me what this box can't do. So I hope this helps you. You have an old box and you're trying to get it streaming. Please visit MBOX Frustrated User Guide on YouTube. We have an episode on clock problems, an episode on streaming bandwidth problems, lots of episodes to show you how to get your box working. There's no reason you can't get any of those old boxes working just as well as this one as of August 5th, 2024. And if you have a newer box, well, in some cases, the newer ones don't actually work as well as this old one. But we'll leave it there. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. For more info on any of the apps or procedures mentioned here, search for Frustrated User Guides by Lawrence Pina on YouTube. Click the playlist menu. Find what you're looking for in MXQ Upgrade Secrets or in MBOX Frustrated User Guide. Start with the newest episodes and work backwards. For even more info on any of the apps or procedures mentioned here, search for Frustrated User Guides by Lawrence Pina on Dailymotion. Find the episodes that can't be shown on YouTube. If you find this content useful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That's all I ask. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching.